Alrighty, so area of a regular polygon. How are we going to find this? Well, you'll notice that a regular polygon is divvied up into a certain amount of triangles. Okay, so if I wanted to find the area of one of these triangles, remember area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So the area of one of these triangles, the height is apothem, the base is a side length divided by 2. Okay, and that's going to give me the area of one of these triangles. Well, how many triangles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is equal to the number of sides. Okay, so if I multiply this by the number of sides, if I do a little bit of rearranging here, if I just group these together, use that associative property of algebra, if I take the number, or if I take the measure of the side length and I multiply by the number of sides, taking side plus side plus side plus side plus side plus side, what that's going to give me is the perimeter of my figure. Because remember, perimeter is just adding up all the sides. Okay? And when all the sides are the same, we can just multiply by the number of sides that we have. So this is the same thing as multiplying by the perimeter. So the area formula for a regular polygon is apothem times perimeter divided by 2. So A is going to be the apothem, and capital P is going to be the perimeter of the figure. Okay, so that is what we need in order to find the area of a polygon. So let's do some examples. So let's recall just what's up above, just so I don't have to keep scrolling. Area is equal to apothem times perimeter divided by 2. So you'll notice in this pentagon, we see that the apothem is 6 centimeters. Apothem is that perpendicular from the center to the midpoint of a side. Okay? And we have that the side length is 8. So in order to find the perimeter, I'm going to take the measure of the side length, I'm going to multiply it by the number of sides, which is 5. So the perimeter is 40. So my area here is going to be apothem, 6, times perimeter, 40, divided by 2. So area is going to be 120 centimeters squared. That is a very straightforward type problem with all the information basically being given to you. B is going to make it a little bit more complicated. We see that the apothem is 6.5. Okay? 8 is the radius. Radius doesn't show up in my area formula, but it is going to help me because if you'll notice, we don't know anything about the side lengths, and we need to find that. So if I set that up, 6.5, 8, if I try to find that x using Pythagorean theorem, 6.5 squared plus x squared is equal to 8 squared. After solving for that, using my calculator, and I take the square root, so x squared is going to equal 21.75. So x is going to equal 4.66, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So that is just equal to this part right here. I want to figure out what is the whole side length. So I need to multiply that expression times 2. And I'm going to get 9.32 blah, 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 blah. Okay, notice how I'm not rounding until the very, very end. All right. Now to find perimeter, I need to multiply that times 5 times the number of side lengths. And I'm going to get that the perimeter is equal to 46.63 blah, 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 blah. Okay? So now I just plug it into my area formula. Area is equal to apothem times perimeter, which is this long, messy number, divided by 2. So I'm going to take 6.5 times that whole number in my calculator, divided by 2, and now I can round to the nearest thousandth. 151.5699. So that's going to ultimately round to 151.57 units squared. Okay, so that one's a little bit more work, and we want to make sure we're not rounding until the very, very end. Okay? Use your calculator's memory for your benefit, so you don't have to type in all those numbers, but you want to make sure you're not rounding too early. Let's then go on to C. So a wooden roller coaster is a regular octagon, so that's 8 sides, 3 centimeter sides, and a radius of about 3.92 centimeters. What's the area? So we can, since we know the measure of the side length, we can easily find the perimeter. So perimeter is just going to be 3 times the number of sides, or 8. So perimeter is 24 centimeters. Now we have to find the apothem, and the apothem is going to be a little bit of work. Okay, so this is going to be really important to know how to do. If you've got the radius and the side length, how are you going to find the apothem? So remember, this whole side length is 3. If I drop the apothem, that's going to cut the side length of 3 in half. So if I always recommend drawing a simpler diagram. Here's my apothem. I know that the radius is 3.92. And this bottom side of my triangle, the base of this triangle, is going to be half of 3, or 1.5. Okay, so now I can set up my work in order to find the length of the apothem. So 3.92 squared minus 1.5 squared. I'm going to take the square root of that. And I'm going to get that my apothem is 3.62 blah, 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 blah. Okay? So now to find the area. Area is going to be apothem times perimeter divided by 2. So I take that 3.62 blah, blah, blah. I take that mess, multiply by 24, divide by 2. You should get the area to be 43 point, after rounding, is going to be 46 centimeters squared. Okay, 43.46 centimeters squared. All right, so this formula is a little bit trickier. Okay, there's a little bit more that we got to work with, a lot more math going on that we may have to do before we can use the formula. So make sure you're practicing that. Next video is going to be what happens when we only have one dimension. So that's going to require a little bit of trig. So start practicing now, or watch the next video and then practice your worksheet.